Welcome to the Troy Kearns podcast. We talk all things real estate, business, and entrepreneurship. Today, I've got one of my students, Andres Marin. All right, Andres Marin. Andres, where do you hail from? Where's your family from?
Well, both my parents are from Colombia.
Okay.
And they moved here in '93, and then they just came here working low-wage jobs. And my dad just he knew that if he wanted to earn more, he has to learn more. So he just kept trying to educate himself and build up his education so he can go next level, better jobs, all that. And he kind of implemented that into me, teaching me that if I want to earn what I want to make, you have to learn the right skills. And that's how, I'm so big into education, learning, because I know if I want to reach each step, I have to also learn. Because people want to make more, but they're not willing to learn more, so.
Right. And also with that, so just for those of you guys that don't know, how old are you?
20.
You're 20 years old, and you're quite mature for a 20-year-old. I mean, and you just recently, and you're originally from?
New Jersey.
And where'd you just move to?
Iowa.
And we're in Iowa?
Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay, and we were just talking about this just 2 seconds ago. How did you pick Des Moines, Iowa from New Jersey?
Yeah, so I was trying just to move out of Jersey to start this business because I wanted, what the saying is, burn the bridges or burn the boats. Have a completely new start, have no excuses, be alone and just fully focus on my business. I don't want, my friends calling me on the weekend, oh, let's go out, let's go this. I want to be fully in the zone. And I wanted to put all the chips on this business, have no plan B, put everything on plan A, and if it doesn't work, just keep trying plan A. So that's why I decided to move across the country. And the reason I picked Des Moines was because it had great prices, very low crime. It's a just good place of living, and I see it growing in the next 30 years.
So that's a very mature decision for a 20-year-old guy to make. What were you thinking, why did you decide to go all in on real estate? You've never done anything with real estate before. You're 20 years old. You're like, I'm going to burn the ships. I'm going to get into this real estate, and I don't know anything.
Yeah, so like I said, my dad's the one who'd been always trying to teach me the mindset about being your own boss, because since he works, he's a truck driver.
Right.
He's been a truck driver for 14 years, and he works long hours, and he doesn't want the same for me. He wants me to work my own hours and not have to. He says don't work like a slave like he does, because he doesn't have time to do anything.
Right.
So, he wants a different life for me. So around 14, 15, 16, he just kept trying to teach me, learn skills, be a business, do all that. So of course I was learning everything, stocks, this, that, all that, real estate. But then I just chose real estate because it's one I just liked. I like owning a physical house. It's cool, right, knowing that, I own this house.
Right, totally.
And there's a lot of advantages tax benefits, appreciation, depreciation, and the biggest is leverage.
Right.
You can buy $100,000 house and only put in $3,000 if you want, and you can control that asset with only putting a small amount of money in, and that's very powerful in business. With stocks, you can't do that. I guess there's margin, but that's pretty risky if you want to do margin. And then, so when I was 17, my dad actually said, he trusted me with my knowledge, so he said, actually, if he wants to, let's buy a rental property.
Right.
And of course, he had the money, but he didn't have the knowledge, and I had the knowledge but I didn't have the money. So that was a perfect combination. So he said, let's buy one in Florida, because we like Florida. We go there a lot. So in 2019, we bought one in West Palm Beach, but not the nice area, like a
offshoot.
Low income area.
Somewhere where I'd buy rentals.
Yeah. And we bought it for $186,000.
$186,000.
And the mortgage was $1,200, and we rented it Section 8 for $1,900.
Love it.
Cash flowing. And then it was 2021, and then the markets went up like crazy.
So you paid $180,000 for the house.
Yep.
It's 2021.
How much? 2019.
So that was in 2019.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
And now it's 2021. Just a short 2 years later.
Yeah, and we sold it for $300,000.
So you made $120,000.
Yeah, and then from there, I kind of just said, okay, what's the next plan? And it was either keep buying rentals, but then I thought about it. If I buy rentals, I'm gonna run out of money.
Right.
And of course, the cash flow is nice, but it's not gonna be enough to just keep buying rentals, every month. So, I spent a year just really thinking, because I have a big amount of capital that I can put into work, and I can make a big difference if I really know how to do it. So I took a big gap year, even though I didn't go to college, but my gap year of just thinking.
What does gap year mean?
I guess when people out of high school, they take 1 year just to work a part-time job and thinking what they want to do before they go to college. And then,
Okay.
So it's kind of like my version of it is just kind of thinking what I want to do with that money. And then I decided I'm going to just start my own business, and that will be the flipping business, the flipping model. So I can have active income, so I can have a big amount of income coming in, and then buy rentals with that money.
Right.
That was my idea. So then I got to Des Moines, and then I wasn't planning on flipping. But the issue was my business model was going to be network with wholesalers. They'll bring me deals and I'd flip it. But then after a month, I noticed that these wholesalers were not bringing me good deals.
Right. They don't leave any money for you.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I can't wait until they bring me a good deal, because it might be months or years before I get a good deal.
You got to control it.
So I had to, that's exactly, I want to put this in my own hands. And I went direct to seller myself. So I just educated myself, learned the whole process, and that's what got my first deal.
So I wanted to interrupt you in this podcast and just take a quick moment to tell you 2 things. Number 1, we do this for free for you. I haven't made a nickel on social media at all. I'm doing this to provide you enough value. So all I'm asking for you to do is share it and give us a 5-star review. It'll totally help us out, and I really appreciate it. The other thing, if you want more free resources like our free Facebook group, it's Millionaire Mentorship Real Estate Investing on Facebook. All you got to do is join it. It's free. It doesn't cost anything, and there's lots of resources there, and we'll definitely give you those for free, no charge. Here's the other thing. If you're serious about investing in real estate and you're ready to take action, I have a program. No matter where you're at in your real estate journey, I can help you out. I don't care if you've got 5 houses, 10 houses, no houses, 100 houses. I've got something that I can share with you that's going to make you a lot of money. And if you want to become financially free and you're brand new to real estate investing, this is the absolute thing you want to do. And here's the thing. What I've learned from most of my students right now is that it's not just an investing program. It's a mindset program. We're going to change the way you think about money. If you want to start investing, make sure you schedule a call with me and my team, and let's get the ball rolling. Guess what else? If you are like, man, I don't got the time and I make tons of money, I just enjoy listening to what you're going to say, that's cool too. We actually have set up a fund where you can invest with us, but you got to be an accredited investor. If you want to find out what that looks like, all you got to do is click the link in my bio, fill out the form. It takes you about 2 seconds, and then we'll let you know about the deals that we're doing. We're doing big deals in Kansas City. And this year, I think we'll do 2 huge deals in Kansas City. I'm looking at a few right now, and I want you to be a part of it. And if you've got more money than time, then that's what you should do. If you got more time than money, then schedule a call with me and my team, and we'll get you into our coaching program so that you can have more money than time. That's something that I preach often, and one of the things that, I'm going to remind you is, like, the best deals are the people who are distressed, who are going through foreclosure. And then, obviously you took a lot of that and ran it on your own, which is, I would just argue that it doesn't matter who you're learning from if you're not willing to go and take the actions. So you took some actions, and you did, something that I talk about, but we don't use often. You were one of the first people to do it, and I was super proud of you, Andres. And that was, you took PropStream. Talk us about the deal that you just bought, and let's go through that.
Yeah. So my first goal is just to get a list of houses that fit my criteria. So distressed houses that maybe have a lot of equity or going through foreclosure, or a lot of high motivation scenarios. So then with PropStream, I put in all those filters, and then got my list from Des Moines. And then from there, my choice was how to market to that list. Call, SMS market, whatever. But I decided SMS marketing because it's just so cheap,
right? And
you can do so much volume,
right?
That it makes sense. And I just did that for 2 weeks, and that's how I got the first deal. My first phone call was that deal,
right? And when you got the deal, you actually contacted me.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Yeah. So I think that I called her talking about the property condition, and then I think I told her that I want to see I'm gonna do everything virtually.
Right.
Just sign the contracts virtually. I'm not going to see it. And then you told me that wasn't the best idea because it's better to see the house, in person, all that. Mm-hmm. And of course I was nervous because, it was my first phone call and it could be a deal. Yeah. Normally people make 1,000 phone calls and then they get a deal.
Right.
But in my scenario, it was my first phone call and it could be a deal. So it was, high stakes. And then luckily she was like, she was very highly motivated. and it ended up being a deal.
Yeah, you were just trying to stay in your comfort zone a little bit on that first one. And you're like, I'll just do it virtually. I won't do it. And we actually used the coaching call to go through and write your contract, I think. Didn't we?
We did, but my attorney wanted to make a few adjustments, so we used his instead. But
you're right. Okay, yeah. But you understand the concept now, and you feel like now you could go and do it on your own.
It makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
So, you got the house. You bought it for what?
I actually put it under contract for $100,000.
Right.
But then I realized when I went to the house, it was a hoarder house.
Right.
So just a lot of stuff. And my concern was I can't determine the true condition of the house until I buy it and clean it out. So there's a lot of risk for me. Because what if I clean everything out and then it's just horrible, the condition. So I decided that I want to negotiate the price. So that's when I got the quote for $20,000 to clean it out. So I kind of used that to help negotiate. I told her, I got this quote for $20,000 to help clean out. I'll help pay $5,000. And then we negotiated down to $85,000, and then that's how I bought it for $85,000.
$85,000, and then you were actually planning on using those guys to clean out that, and then you got kind of laughed out of the room by everybody who's done that. Let's talk about that. So you got a bid for $20,000 to clean out the house. How much did you get the house cleaned out for?
Probably like $4,000, $5,000.
$4,000, and you currently have the property, or you just sold it.
It's under contract to sell, so March 3rd.
March 3rd is the closing date. That's right. And how much do you have it under contract to sell?
$140,000.
$140,000. So how much money are you going to make on it? $50,000. Are you pretty excited about that?
Yeah, everything went my way. Thankfully, first phone call went to a $50,000 deal, which not a lot of people get on the first.
That happens with every one of my students, guys. No, I'm just kidding. So the first phone call led to the deal. You got that deal. What is your next plans? What are your future plans? What are you trying to do?
So with that money, just keep reinvesting in the business. So, expand the marketing list, which I did. So I expanded to New Jersey, and I quadrupled my list because there's so many houses in New Jersey. So my list went from 5,000 to 30,000. So I have a lot more volume I can do. I upgraded my SMS subscription. So now I'm paying like $1,400 a month, so more than my rent. But I think it's worth it because I can so much volume I can do.
So you're paying more money on your lead source than it costs you to do rent. Which one are you using again? Which SMS platform?
Launch Control.
Launch Control. And you're using, in addition to that, so you're sending out text message. How many text messages a day are you sending out?
Like around 1,500.
1,500 text messages a day. And out of those that are being sent out, how many people are responding to you?
Well, a lot of people respond, but not positive, not with positive messages.
Are they saying thanks for sending me this message. Please take me off the fucking list.
Yeah, a lot of bad things. But there's a couple people that say, I'm interested, but not now. So I'll put those in a separate list, criteria. That's they're like a warm lead. So I'll contact them maybe a little sooner than the other list. And then some people say, oh yeah, give me a call, but they're not maybe that serious. But there's always maybe one person that's serious, but you have to just wiggle around the sales.
Now, do you follow up with them on text or do you try to call them?
No, I do text, but I do think it's better calling them because you can build better rapport that way. But that's probably something out of my comfort zone, which I should be doing.
Right. That's kind of why I asked the question. Yeah, I think that text is a good cue to get them going. And then once they raise their hand and they show interest, you pick up the phone and you set the appointment. Yep. And you don't have to go and set, you were nervous when you get on the first thing, but anything that anybody who thinks that you're not going to be nervous doing it, doing something different is nervous. Yeah. When you get on a motorcycle the first time, you're nervous. Yeah. When you make a phone call and you've never made phone calls, you're nervous. Yeah. You might be nervous about your accent. You might be nervous about saying the wrong thing. But the thing is, what you do when you talk to people is you ask questions. Mm-hmm. And if you have a list of questions that you can ask them, hey, and I think we've gone over this several times, hey, why are you selling your property? What are your plans? Okay, and then you go into an alternative close can I come over on Friday or Saturday? Yeah. Do you need this or that? This or that? But the fact that you were able to take that information, apply it, and then make $50,000 on it was awesome. I know how excited you were on it. And then you And you at first you were like, I want to flip it, I want to fix it, I want to do that. And what did I tell you?
Just better get the money quick than having to deal with, go 6 months, deal with all that, and you probably make like close to as much flipping, and then, if you just wholesale it real quick.
And do you think that's true?
I think if you sell it for a right price, you probably could make the same as flipping it.
But could a lot more go wrong?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I mean, and you already got a good deal. So when I always look at it like a wholesale deal is like, or wholesale, or however you want to call it, is like you actually closed on the property, so it wouldn't be really a wholesale because you actually closed on it. But when you actually find a good deal and you're like, well, what am I going to do now? And you're like, I can go and fix it up. There's 99 things that can go wrong when you start touching that house. And those are things that you don't control. A contractor, a this, a that, the other thing. And then your budget goes over, and then your money goes over.
Yep.
And this is your first deal.
Yeah.
And now that you're starting to get comfortable, and there was so much meat on that bone that, like, if it was like, oh, I'm going to go flip this house, and if I flip it, I was going to make $10,000 by just selling it, but if I flip it, I make 60, then go flip the house, right?
Yeah.
But if you're like, I'm going to make 80, but I make 50 right now, go make the 50 right now, because the time velocity of money.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what are your plans for the rest of your life? No, for the rest of for the indefinite, for the future.
So I do have very big goals, and I think it is important to have very big goals, because when you have really big goals, you think differently. You think in bigger numbers, all that. Like if my goal was to make 100,000, I might think too small. I might think, oh, I only have to do one deal a month.
Right.
And then I might just stop at one deal, might be happy. But if I say my goal is to do $1 million a month, I'll think much bigger terms, and I can go more all in. And I might not reach $1 million, but since I think bigger numbers, I might reach 100,000 a month or something, because I just think bigger and think it differently.
Cool. So what's your goal?
Yep. So right now, I have a lot of different ideas, but right now I'm focused on building the wholesaling business and kind of using that as a foundation.
Right.
To then fund any other projects I want to do. So I want to use that as a foundation, and then fund maybe, like a passion project of mine is owning a restaurant, because I think I could be very good at service-based businesses, because I understand how service should be.
Right.
That's a passion project. I do want to, I'm interested in luxury flipping. I know you might be not
we just toured one this morning.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really? I know, I watched a podcast with Jason Abrams.
Yeah, that's who we just toured one this morning with.
Yeah, I like that. That's what really got me intrigued about that. Because I know there's a high risk, but high rewards. I'm willing to take that risk personally.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I wouldn't do that on your first one.
Yeah.
I think that, and I even said that in the video today, as like, if you're getting started in this is not, I mean, he's got 25 years of experience, and he did a bunch of cool ones. Well, those videos will actually be coming out like probably pretty soon. We just shot 2 of them. We shot one completely done and the other one like being done. But I do agree that high risk, high reward, but high calculated risk, right? Exactly. And I think that you got to buy it right. Like you take on some of those cool old properties in Des Moines and you're like, hey man, this thing, but there's so much that goes into learning that it's also high risk, big loss, and as young as you are, I'm looking at like a guy like me, and I took a lot of high risks when I was younger. And those were the biggest mistakes I made. Like I bought houses in Vegas where we're at right now when I lived in Seattle. Yeah. And I ended up losing tons of money and tons of time. Yeah. So that's one thing. Like you can take a lot of risks because you're young, but I think you're smarter than I was back then. Like you have a lot of like really good knowledge. But, I was like, well, this market's going up like crazy, and how do I lose? Yeah. How do I lose money? And then I find out that, you are going to lose. So definitely would guide you in that direction. What advice would you have for somebody who's listening right now and maybe they're on the fence because you were on the fence for a while, like you had done stuff with your dad, but this was on your own, and talk about like moving to Iowa, like you wanted to move there because you didn't want to have any distractions, everything like that. Yeah. I mean, you just have to take the leap of faith, honestly. And my way of thinking is that like you only have one life, and I don't want to, like, even if I fail, at least I tried. Right. I can end my life knowing that at least I gave it my all, instead of saying, what if, what if I did this? What if I did that? So like if I do fail, whatever, I can learn from that and then do something else. There's always learning experiences. So that's definitely like my main motivation, is that, I only have one life, and try to, fully reach my potential. So,
take whatever risk possible to, take the leap of faith and reach any level you can.
Right. And so where do you see yourself like at 45 years old? I'm 45, you're 20. So like in the next, I didn't see myself where I'm at. So I'm just kind of curious where you see yourself.
Like I said, I make big goals for myself. Like I see myself making like $1 million a month with every project. I'm only 20.
Right.
So I have 25 years to make $1 million a month. And I see, like other guys that are in this industry, they make $1 million a month after, 7 years, 8 years.
Right.
They have 25 years to do it.
Right.
So I probably could surpass that. But, that's like to some people that might sound crazy, making $1 million a month. But like if we just, see it differently or see how businesses run and how scale things, it could it's just, you see it more possible.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Bezos makes like $1 million a minute. So I mean, like, there's if you don't, like you said, if you don't dream big, you don't do big, and big things don't happen. What about this next year? Where do you see yourself going? What are your goals to kind of close out 2023?
So I do think my goal is to do at least a deal a month. That's at least a deal a month. But then hopefully, with every deal I do get, I just keep reinvesting so I can expand the list. Spend more on marketing so I can get more than one deal a month.
Right.
Like hopefully I can do 3 deals a month, all that. And then maybe like my short-term goal is like if maybe I seem to reach a cap in Des Moines, like it's harder to get more deals, maybe go on to a next market like Minneapolis because it's like only a 2-hour drive, 3-hour drive, and I kind of do that with the Midwest and like set up like a small team, like in Des Moines, like 1-person team. They can just go to the appointments, all that, do the basic things. But I'm in charge of running, the marketing, selling, all that stuff. But that's more maybe 2 years down the line.
What about rentals?
Oh yeah, so it's definitely important because that's how you build your wealth and get tax deductions, all that. That's definitely more. My big goal is just build as much capital as possible. Just have a big fund, and then from there see if I can go because I'm still young.
Right.
Like I don't have to retire in 5 years. I can retire in 20 years if I want 30 years.
Right.
If I was 50, then maybe I'll go into rentals because I need some cash flow to live off. But I'm only 20, and I plan on working, who knows how long. But until like I get like a lot of income coming in, that's when I'll start building my rental portfolio.
My only advice on that would be you're going to pay a huge amount of taxes this year, and so maybe you borrow some money to buy some rentals so that you can continue to build capital. You do a cost segregation, and you eliminate that taxes because if let's say you did $300,000 worth of income in flips, you're going to pay $100,000 in taxes. But if you bought rentals, you could almost put that down to zero, and then you made $100,000 more. So that's my only feedback for you on that is just like keep that in your back of your mind because you're gonna when you write that check to the IRS, you're gonna be like, oh boy, I want you to remember like the rentals. Like yes, you've got time, but if you can be more strategical, and I didn't do this stuff right when I started. And so I paid lots of taxes. I mean, I remember years where I paid $300,000 in taxes. Yeah. And then once you figure it out, you're like, oh boy, I better do it this way. And so just keep that in mind. Is there anything else? Oh, yeah, real quick. So talk to us about like, is this the first mentorship program that you've had?
So I've been in other courses, but they're more just like, they just give you like the videos and you just watch it through. You never get like you never talk to the person. You just watch those videos. So this is definitely the course that I can actually talk to you. Right. Talk to you, ask you questions, all that. I'm in another mentorship right now with a different guy because I like listening to everyone.
You have to. I totally agree with that.
Because everyone has different perspectives.
And you're not going to hear things sometimes the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing. Like I try to learn from everyone because everyone has different methods, and you can like see which methods might work for you and just maybe combine this or avoid this because you just see it differently. So I think it's super important to learn from a lot of people.
100%. I couldn't agree more. I talk about that in golf all the time is like sometimes you just got to get a different coach. Yeah. Because like you might grow stagnant. You might be hearing the same person and you don't hear them anymore. They might be saying exactly what you need to hear. Yeah. But you got to go to somebody else just to hear it a different way. And then, you get somebody, and I think you should have multiple coaches if you want to get good at stuff. Like there's like not... If you're Michael Jordan, you don't just have one coach. You've got like all sorts of people trying to help you get it. I've got multiple coaches that I have helping me all the time with things that I'm trying to get good at. And then sometimes you got to like, And then you got to be real careful about who you hire as your coach, because a lot of times there's guys who don't even know what they're doing who teach you.
Yeah, and it's tough, especially if you're a beginner, because you don't know who's right or who's wrong. So you might learn from someone who's wrong, and you've been learning for 5 years straight from someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Right. So especially as a beginner, it's definitely hard to know who you can trust.
What is your favorite thing about real estate?
First is probably the money, but second, just it's kind of cool just having like a physical legacy you can like leave behind. You know, like I have 100 houses or 1,000 houses that I can go touch, see people living it, that, you know, I can help the community improve houses. So that's one thing I like a lot.
Yeah, and then one of my favorite things is knowing that, like, when they're working, they're almost working for you, because they have to pay you rent first to because the house is the most important. Like, you're paying for a rental right now, right?
Yeah.
You're living in a rental property. Are you planning on buying your house this year?
No, I mean, I don't know, because since I don't know, like, if I'm probably going to be moving a lot around the country, so probably don't know when I'm going to buy a house.
Maybe that's your first rental.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, maybe I can buy a fix and flipper, live in it, and then when I move out, just leave that as a rental.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So tell me real quick, just to kind of wrap things up, where did this restaurant bug come from?
So since I'm always, like I say, like I think I can do a very good job with service-based industries like hotels, restaurants, all that.
Why do you say that?
Because I think I just understand like how someone should be treated, especially like in like a restaurant. Because I have good experiences and bad experiences, and it's like so easy to make a good experience, go above and beyond,
right?
You know, but majority of restaurants don't do that. They just give you the like average,
right?
You know, but like for me, like I go above and beyond. If something goes wrong, I want to fix it. Where they say, man, they fixed this and more. Look at that. I'm gonna come back because look at that. But some restaurants, they might do something wrong, and then whatever, they don't care about you. They might say, just, you have to pay for it still. And they're going to come back. They're going to think badly, all that's bad service. But for me, you know, go above and beyond, have extra, you know, have a smile when you with the waiters, you know, everyone smiles, friendly. If something goes wrong, go above and beyond. Sometimes like maybe give a free dessert and say, if you enjoy this, leave 5 stars, like a review, like go the extra step that a lot of people just don't do. Have you worked in the restaurant industry before? Never. Okay. Well, I spent 8 years at Red Robin as a server, and I could tell you, yeah, you're right. I mean, it doesn't take that much to make a good experience, and you can tell when you have a bad experience for sure. Yeah. So what kind of food will you be serving at your restaurant? So I'm either in between like doing a Colombian restaurant, because my parents are Colombian, so having like a good Colombian restaurant. And it's funny because my dad's a good, super picky eater. And so I always make jokes. I want to make my own restaurant so you can finally have a good restaurant you can eat at. But another option is like going like fine dining, like super high-end dining, so I can charge, you know, good prices. And since I know how to provide that value, it'll be worth it for people to pay those, you know, those meals. So I'm in between those. But either end, like I'll still do like the pricing above average, because I have higher margins, but I know like how to provide that value that makes it worth it. Well, I think your dad's proud of you. He's probably, it sounds like you're highly educated. You never went to college, right? Nope. And he definitely stressed that you get an education. Where does all this learning come from? Just books, YouTube, mentorships. Awesome. Just that, yeah. Awesome, man. You're here today. There's a couple people that you're super excited to learn from. My good buddy Casey Ryan. Yeah. I think he's going to blow your hair back. Yeah. And appreciate you coming on, brother. Thank you, Troy. All right, man. If you guys liked what Andres has to say, then make sure you give us a 5-star review. And if you are interested in getting outside your comfort zone just like he did and making $50,000 on your first flip, then all you got to do is sign up for a coaching call and we'll walk you through how to do it. And I tell you what, there is much more in Andres' future. If they want to follow you, how do they follow you? I actually deleted all my social media because that's how determined I am to go have no distractions. But if you want to give me a text at 515-333-7575, nice and easy number, you can text me there. All right, text him, and I think that's a good thing. Delete all your social medias. Yeah. If I didn't have one, I'd delete it. I'm with you 100% on that program. So we'll check you on the next one. All right, peace. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Make sure you give us a 5-star review. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this podcast with a friend, and make sure that you schedule a call with me and my team. We have the Millionaire Mentorship
program. This is for newbie and advanced investors to get started investing in real estate. And if you're listening to this podcast right now, that's exactly what you want, right? You want to learn how to invest in real estate. It's changed my life. It can change your life. And we have a program that'll help you get your first or next investment property within the next 90 days, or I'll pay you $1,000 cash and you don't pay. Guess what else we're launching? We're launching a fund. And if you're interested, I'll include a link in my bio to this fund where you can actually invest with me on a lot of the properties that we're in. In fact, I'm in one of my properties right now in downtown Kansas City, in a building that I bought using my own money, but I started with just one property, and you can do the exact same thing that I did, but you got to get started. You got to take action. So whether you want to invest with me in my fund or whether you want to schedule a call with my team, both those links are in the bio, and we'll see you on the next one.